Welcome back to my channel. This is Xoxo Tarot. I'm Xoxo, and in today's pick a card reading, we are doing something a bit different. I've actually never done a yes or no reading, but I added maybe in there because sometimes the universe is not very cut and dry with answers, and sometimes an answer is not set in stone. So the point of today's pick a card reading is to be able to ask any question you have, and if you think of a question and then feel drawn to one of the spheres or multiple, to see what answer the universe has for you. So feel free to ask more than one question if you are curious about multiple things. I make no promises that you get a clear, cut and dry answer because the universe doesn't always work that way, but I will do my best. Ultimately, you should trust your own intuition first and foremost, but I do hope that this reading resonates, and I do hope that you get some clarity and guidance for your journey moving forward, and I hope that you can get an answer that is at the very least mildly satisfying. So we have 5 different oracle cards to choose from with different orbs on top. I got them back from the orb repair store. If you know, you know. So starting with pile 1, we have this Thulite sphere and this first oracle card. And then for pile 2, we have this Sardonyx sphere and the second oracle card. And then for pile 3, we have this ocean Jasper sphere and the third oracle card. And then for pile 4, we have this blue rose quartz sphere and the fourth oracle card. And finishing off with pile 5, we have this fluorite sphere and this 5th oracle card. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to decide which pile you feel most drawn to. It's absolutely okay to save this for later if you don't have any questions right now, or if you have multiple questions, feel free to pick more than one pile. Or you might find if you have one question and you're drawn to multiple piles, it might be that there is multiple answers, or there are multiple answers for you. So I would just really take what resonates here and trust yourself first and foremost. This is kind of experimental for me, so I'm just hoping that it resonates and at the very least brings you some clarity. So go ahead and pick your orb or orbs, and then scroll down to the description box or the comment section where I will have all the timestamps for each group listed below, and then I will see you in your reading. Hi there, pile 1. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Thulite sphere, this is going to be your reading on the answer to your question, yes, no, or maybe so. So what I'm going to do first is pull a single card from this deck, and that is going to be the answer to your question, and then I'm going to pull tarot to elaborate on why that is the answer, and then I will get advice. So it's a bit more of a brisk reading. But while I'm shuffling, go ahead and think about your question. Make sure you've got it really clear in your mind so you're sure about what you are answering. Now, I make no promises because the universe doesn't always work with cut and dry answers, and you just never know. So I will do my best to answer your question, but I make no promises that it's clear, cut and dry. Sometimes we have to trust ourselves to make decisions or wait and see. But let's go ahead and see. Spirit, let's answer pile 1's question. Is it a yes, is it a no, or is it a maybe so? What is the answer to their question? And I will say each of these cards has like a name. It may have no significance to you, but if the name is significant, take it as it is. So pile 1, the answer to your question is grow through it. So Savannah says grow through it. So this doesn't really seem like a yes or a no. This seems like something that's more, it's more of a situation where it depends how you respond to it. It seems like the universe isn't saying yes or no. It seems like the awareness that you're going to get through this situation is going to come through trusting yourself to respond to whatever you're asking about in the way that feels right to you. And however things change based on your response to it, what you learn from that is kind of what is meant to happen here. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the tarot because I feel like that might be a little bit confusing. But I feel like this isn't a yes or a no. It seems like whatever you're asking about is a bit of a lesson in learning to be comfortable with uncertainty, or learning to accept discomfort around uncertainty, if that makes sense. But I'm going to pull some tarot cards and we'll just see what Spirit is trying to tell you about this question. So I would say, if anything, this is leaning more towards a yes. If like if you're asking if what you're leading to, like what you're asking about, if you're asking about like, will this lead to something that you're hoping for, I feel like the Spirit, like the universe might be saying yes, but it's going to be a process of growth to get there. But if it's a no, it's more like the universe kind of saying it's in your own best interest. But I feel like for most of you, it's a yes. I feel like the only reason it would be a no is because it's either like a not yet or there's something better coming. So let me just see what the tarot says first. And by the way, if it doesn't resonate, don't take it. And if you feel like it's something else, feel free to try a different pile or trust your gut over me. I'm just a pair of talking hands on the internet. So Spirit, can you clarify what you mean by grow through it? Okay, we have the Four of Cups. We have the Chariot. Okay. And we have the Emperor clarified by the Eight of Pentacles. What's on the back of the deck? Okay, the back of the deck is the Six of Pentacles. So what I will say right off the bat is that there's a reason why this situation isn't cut and dry. It's actually very important for your growth and for your journey this lifetime. It seems like what you're asking about, there isn't a cut and dry answer, but the universe is saying that this situation is incredibly important for your growth. The one thing I will say is that with this Four of Cups here, it seems like you might be wanting to push this situation away, or maybe not acknowledge all of the options within this situation that you're asking about. It seems like with the Four of Cups, you might be a little bit frustrated, or you might be feeling like things aren't changing swiftly enough, or that the answer can only be yes or no, or black and white. I don't feel like this answer for you is black and white. I feel like there could even be like yeses and nos. Because the interesting thing is that the Chariot is a lot about balance, and you can't really move forward without it. And I feel like whatever you're asking about, the universe is trying to get you to see things a different way than how you're currently looking at them. I also feel like the universe is saying that there isn't a guaranteed outcome here. It's more so about how you respond to your challenges or what you're facing in this situation and the decisions that you choose to make. But what I do feel like, though, is that this situation is likely, I wouldn't be shocked if there is like an astrological transit that you could be going through right now that correlates to the question that you're asking about. Because I almost feel like for a lot of you, this is a situation where you might be frustrated right now, or you might be feeling like the universe is being stingy with answers, or you might be really not trusting yourself or trusting your guidance. You might be feeling like the universe is going to rip the rug out from underneath you. But I feel like this situation is trying to show you that you can trust yourself more than you realize. Because with the Chariot card being here, I feel like you have a very unique perspective, and I think that you can trust yourself to make the right decision. I feel like the universe is saying if we gave you a clear, cut and dry answer to this, it would rob you of your agency to trust yourself and to make a decision that's going to be most aligned with you. I feel like with the Four of Cups, there are things that you're not necessarily seeing in this situation, and I think it's either because you're too focused on certain elements of it, or you're feeling very impatient about getting to an outcome. It's almost like you might be wanting to wish this situation away so that you can just be sad, so you can just know. But I feel like the universe is saying that the outcome in this situation is not set in stone. It's created by the actions that you choose to take. But I think the thing is that you may not be recognizing is that you're far more powerful than you realize. I also think that there's an element here where you might be feeling afraid to kind of take control in this situation. Like with the Emperor card here being clarified by the Eight of Pentacles, you might almost be worried that you're going to make the wrong decision, or that your hard work isn't going to be worth it. But I feel like what Spirit is really saying is that you're like, the hard work that you're putting in is going to be more than worth it. I feel like whatever you're asking about, the outcome is something that is better than you can imagine if you apply yourself and trust yourself to make the decisions most aligned with you. This could have something to do with work for a lot of you, and it could be quite possible that you might have to try a couple of different things before you find the solution that's going to work with you. It might be kind of a situation where you have to just kind of test things out and see what works. But I see ultimately whatever it is that you're asking about, it's leading you to a lot of personal power and a lot of personal growth. And I feel like with the Six of Pentacles being on the back of the deck, I feel like there's a lot of help and assistance coming your way, but you might be feeling too proud to either like accept it, or you may not be wanting to, you may not be aware of where there is help available to you. I feel like if there are people that you look up to or admire that maybe have been in a situation that you're in, that you know have been in a situation that you're currently in, maybe asking for their guidance and seeing how they have worked through these situations, that could be really useful to you. But I definitely feel like there's an element here where you're feeling like you can't trust yourself to figure things out, or I feel like you might be feeling this unnecessary sense of urgency. Like if you don't get it figured out now, then things are going to go to shit. Or if you don't know the exact right thing to do, like the entire world is going to implode. And I think the universe is saying, pay attention to the thoughts you have that catastrophize things. Because I feel like the universe is saying that you have more control over this situation than you realize. With the Emperor, I think that the universe is really encouraging you to take the lead. And actually, the Emperor and the Chariot, the Emperor represents Aries energy and the Chariot represents Cancer energy, and those are both cardinal energies. So I feel like the universe is really encouraging you to take the lead in how you choose to respond to this situation, and try not to hold yourself to a certain outcome, but treat this question as like a hypothesis or like an experiment where you see how you respond to the question that you have, or how you respond to the uncertainty that you are curious about. You know, the answer is in the results, and the results don't necessarily determine how things are going to be. They just give you better awareness of how to respond to these situations in the future. I feel like the universe is saying, you know, as frustrating as it might be, if they told you how, like clearly how to respond to this, it's almost like they would be, well, like I said earlier, they'd be robbing you of your agency, one, and two, it would leave you dependent on something outside of yourself to be able to trust in what you know and feel is right. So I feel like this is a situation that's helping you grow into your own Emperor energy, where you can feel more comfortable to take control of things and put in the work, even when you don't know that it's going to be quote unquote worth it or not. I do feel a specific message that if you're asking about work, if you feel like there is like leadership at your work not really seeing you, I feel like the universe is saying, don't martyr yourself, but also don't be afraid to step up. I feel like for some of you, you might be kind of hiding yourself out of fear, or kind of staying quiet and not really standing up for yourself. And I feel like the universe is saying that you need to be your own best advocate in this situation. I feel like with the Emperor card here, you know, if you're not being treated correctly, or if you feel like you're being passed over, or if you feel like you're not being heard, I feel like the universe is saying you need to roar louder. You need to be willing to take a risk and stand up for yourself. It gives me like Michael Scott energy, where he like tells off David Wallace and he's like, you have no idea how high I can fly. And even if you don't necessarily know where things will lead, I feel like the universe is saying you can trust. You can trust yourself in this situation. I also feel like, considering this Chariot has a unicorn here, I feel like what the universe is saying is that this situation is unique to you, in the sense that the way that you need to respond to it may not be the way that other people need to respond to this situation if they were in your shoes. But it's like the way that you respond to it and your experiences are incredibly important. And I think the universe is saying you might be holding yourself back or waiting for the answers to come to you, when I literally just heard like the proof is in the pudding. So I don't really say that, so that might be significant for some of you. But the universe is saying, like, we want you to trust yourself and trust the direction you're headed in. If what is in front of you, or the options in front of you, if none of them seem like the right one, there's probably an option or an opportunity that you're not considering back here. With that Four of Cups, that often shows someone who is too focused on what's in front of them, or too keyed in on what they're focused on, and they're not paying attention to the fact that there might be a plan Z. You know, it makes me think of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie where Plankton's telling Karen, like, I've tried everything from A to Y. And she's like, A to Y? And he's like, yeah, you know, the alphabet. And she's like, what about Z? And he's like, Z? And she's like, Z, the letter after Y. And, you know, Plankton's shocked. It's like, oh my God, there's a plan Z. So I feel like if you are too focused on what hasn't worked in this situation, or if you're just really frustrated about where you're at, I feel like the universe is saying, like, you have no idea, like, how powerful you are. And you are really, like, the outcome of this situation depends on how much you trust your intuition and how much action you're willing to take. Like, I feel like there's a lot about taking the lead here and trusting yourself, that even if you end up making a decision that doesn't have the outcome you wanted, you can still learn from it and make a better decision next time. There's no need to be perfect. This is just about growing and improving. Daisies could be significant as well. I don't know what daisies symbolize, but if you want to look that up, that might have some answers for you. But I think more than anything, the universe is saying the outcome of this situation is dependent on whether you trust yourself to make a decision, or you put that in someone else's hands, and how much work you put into it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this reading off with some final guidance. Like I said, these readings are going to be shorter. So if you're not satisfied with this answer, I would try maybe a different pile if you're drawn to it. But like I said, the universe makes no promises when it comes to answering stuff like this. So the universe is saying, it's not a yes or a no. It's a trust yourself to make the right decisions and grow through whatever this process is. If you're too focused on solutions won't work, or decisions that you definitely don't want to make, ask yourself about what you haven't considered, and if there's any opportunities that you maybe aren't paying attention to. You know, if you're too focused on what if things fail, or what if things don't work, or the fact that you're really dissatisfied with the pace of things, I feel like the universe is saying, what is in your control? What can you take action towards right now? What is going to feel good to put your effort and energy into? Because I definitely feel like this is a really valuable lesson that you're learning, or situation that you're in. It's just about seeing it for what it is, rather than being frustrated at how challenging it may be, or being frustrated that you don't have the answers right now. You know, hindsight is 20/20, and I think you'll actually be surprised about how well equipped you are to handle this situation. So in terms of final guidance for you, we have surrender to non-action. Now is the time to be still and not act. Simply breathe and focus on your own power. Let others come to you. So that's really interesting. So I feel like if you don't know what to do, don't do anything until you feel like like this Four of Cups to me kind of says like, yeah, if you don't see the right solution, don't take action towards something you know isn't going to work. Try to stay open-minded and kind of get out of your head. Like, you know how you might be so focused on something that it's almost like the answer eludes you? Or have you ever heard that quote, like, you're so close, like if it was a snake, it would bite you? Like, there might be an answer hanging right in front of your face, and you might just be too focused on worries or what's not working. And I feel like the universe is saying the solution is there for you. But I also feel like the universe is saying you don't have to prove anything to anyone, and that you can trust your own decision making on this. And I also feel like what the universe is saying as well is that you don't have to make things happen if you're not sure what to make happen yet, if that makes sense. I feel like if anything, this situation is a lot more in your control. And the typical Emperor card shows someone who is, sitting on a throne. And I feel like the universe is saying, don't force yourself to make things work smart, not hard. So if you don't know what to do, don't force yourself to do things you know you won't work or will just burn you out. It's kind of like being a surfer. Instead of paddling to shore, wait for the wave of truth to carry you there, Wait for the wave and trust that you'll know when it comes. You'll know the right answer when it comes to you, because you'll be inspired by it. You won't be like discouraged by it, if that makes sense. We also have unwavering faith. It's comforting to know we can lean on a power higher than us. Have complete faith that your desires and needs are being taken care of. And yeah, I feel like that's one thing that this Six of Pentacles is talking about. I often read the back of the deck energy to be like a hidden energy or something that we're not seeing that kind of encompasses the main idea. And I think in your case, the universe is trying to give you opportunities to kind of test things out or see, or kind of show you that there are other solutions in your zone of awareness that you just may not be paying attention to, or maybe out of pride, you're too afraid to ask for help about. But I feel like the universe is saying, don't force yourself to come up with a solution if you don't know, if you don't feel good about any of the options you've seen so far. And I also think with this have unwavering faith card, I also think that this is about having unwavering faith in yourself. And I also feel like full moons could be really significant here. I think there's a need to release things that, like, release answers that may have worked for others that you know won't work for yourself, or solutions that you know won't serve you. I almost feel like the less you ponder over things you know won't work or you know won't lead you where you want to go, the more room you'll actually make for the right solutions to come to you. And I think the universe is also saying that your solution doesn't have to be, you're forging the path for yourself. You're not meant to follow a path that everyone else has gone down. Like it seems like the options that you've seen already are just not what feels right to you. And so I feel like the universe is saying, don't force yourself to go down a path you know is just leading you in the wrong direction. If it takes you longer and it takes you a while to figure out the direction you want to go in, that's okay. But trust there's a reason for that. You know, maybe the answers haven't fully aligned yet. Maybe the tools you need or the opportunities for growth that you're experiencing, need time to just be worked through and experienced before the answers come and you understand why you had to grow through these situations. But we also have, I'm in awe of the magnificent guidance that's available to me. So I feel like there might be answers you're not seeing, but I also think you don't trust your own inner guidance. I think that you have more awareness of what you actually need to do than you realize. I think you might just be holding conditions that other people have placed on themselves and conditions that other people have lived by that don't necessarily work for you, that you might be trying to force yourself into, or to like convince yourself that might be right for you. But I feel like that's kind of just your fear talking, that like, what if I don't find the solution? Or what if I listen to my intuition and I fail? Let go of the idea of failure, because there's no such thing. Like, that's placing a value judgment on what you have or haven't done. So I feel like the universe is saying, mistakes are just opportunities for growth and awareness. But I think you might be surprised at how much you already know what you need to do, or how much you can trust yourself to know what to do when the time is right. I feel like the universe is asking you to get a little bit more comfortable with the idea of not knowing how things are going to turn out, but trusting that you can handle whatever comes your way. And if you don't know what a solution is, that you can trust the universe will bring you the answers, and you'll know what the right answer is when the time comes. But we also have, whatever I'm going through will soon be over. So I feel like the universe is saying the answers are coming sooner than you think. I think it's more so just about trusting, just trust yourself. There is no yes or no here. The outcome is still being developed, and it has a lot to do with how much you trust yourself to make the decision most aligned with you, and how patient you can be with the right answer coming to you. I feel like if you jump the gun and try a solution that you know won't work for you, I feel like you're just going to cause yourself more frustration and be back to square one anyway. So I feel like the universe is saying you're not wasting time by waiting for the answer to come to you or not making a decision, because clearly the decision that is most aligned with you, you haven't seen yet, or you haven't discovered yet. And that is the one, like, the right decision it'll feel right. You'll know it when you feel it. And so if that hasn't come to you yet, don't force something. So pile 1, that is where I am going to leave your reading. Like I said, we are doing shorter readings today, but I hope this made sense. I've never done a yes or no reading before, but I hope that it helped. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you for letting my ads play in the background while you did something else. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to show appreciation for me and what I do. But if you'd like to support me in any other ways, you can like this video if it helped or you enjoyed it. You can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already, and you can click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. Shout out to my notification squad. Thank you guys for always commenting. I do respond to comments more often when I first upload, so if you want me to see your comment, I would have those on. You can also check out my social media, though do beware of scammers pretending to be me, and do be aware that I do not offer personal readings. So anyone pretending to be me offering you personal reading is a scammer, not me. And I have merch, but that's all I have for you guys. I really hope this reading helped. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, pile 2. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Sardonyx sphere, this is going to be your reading on the answer to your question. Yes, no, maybe so. So what I'm going to do is shuffle a card from this deck first. That is going to be the answer to your question. I make no promises that it's cut, dry, and clear, because the universe doesn't always operate that way, but I will try my best to get you the clearest answers. But based on the answer that we get from this oracle deck, that will determine what questions I ask with the tarot to just get more elaboration, and then we'll just finish off with some guidance. So I do want to remind you that you should trust yourself before you trust me. You know, if the answer I give you doesn't sound right, or doesn't sound like, if it doesn't feel right, you can feel free to try a different pile, or just disregard what I have to say, because ultimately you know what's best for you, and you should trust yourself first and foremost. If I give you a no and it feels like a yes, don't invalidate yourself. But also feel free to try a different pile. It might have an answer that's more satisfying or something like that. But ultimately, I've never done a yes or no reading, so I'm doing the best that I can. So let's go ahead and see. So Spirit, go ahead and focus on your question if you're not now. What is the answer to pile 2's question? What is the answer to pile 2's question, please? So we have to be determined. Okay. So this is not a yes and not a no. All of these cards have a different name on them, so the name can be significant, but it doesn't have to be. But I definitely think that this is a situation that could go either way. And the fact that there's kind of like a tug of war going on, it seems like it's not a yes or a no right now. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle some tarot cards to elaborate on that. And I think that's, you know, the important thing to remember is that the future is not set in stone. And things can change based on our actions, based on how we approach things. Yeah, that was a very good shuffle. But let's see. Spirit, can you elaborate on this to be determined card? What does pile 2 need to know at this time that would be most beneficial for them to be aware of when it comes to the question that they have? Okay, we have the 2 of Swords. We have the 5 of Wands. And we have the Lovers. And what's on the back of the deck? Okay, I love this. This is wonderful. So the universe is kind of saying that I definitely think that the answer to this is outside of your control a little bit. For some of you, I feel like this question could be around like for example, if some of you are asking about like a job application or something like that, the future may not be set in stone for that. It doesn't have to be that, but what I feel like is going on is that there might be a lot of conflicting energies here, or in terms of how this situation is going to turn out, it might be that the situation most aligned with you is still to be determined. I feel like with the 2 of Swords here, there might be one answer that you're leaning more towards than the other, but you might not be very trusting of, can I make the right decision, or is what is going to be meant for me, like, is it really going to turn out correctly for me? I feel like there's a part of you where you could see things going both ways. I almost feel like this pile is very adaptable, and I feel like you are putting a lot of your faith in the universe to give you the correct result, or to lead you where you need to go. But I feel like you might be doubting your skills or your abilities. You might also be underestimating your value. I feel like whatever this question is, you might actually be overthinking the complexity of it. I feel like with the Lovers card, what is meant for you and what wants you, what is meant for you and what you want also wants you. I feel like anything that doesn't align with you is not going to come to fruition. It's definitely like a rejection is divine protection sort of thing. But I also think that there's something about your performance. Like, for example, if we're talking about like a job interview or a college interview or something like that, I feel like the universe is saying the way that you show up and present yourself could be a determining factor, especially if what you are asking about is something like very competitive. Like if you know that you're up against a lot of different people, I feel like the universe is saying it really depends on how you show up and how confident you are in yourself. You know, I feel like one of the potential pitfalls of this situation is if you doubt your own abilities and you're afraid to express your own worth and express how you truly feel. Like with this Lovers card, I feel like the universe really wants you to be confident, not only in your abilities, but in your passions. So like, for example, if you are competing for a job interview, I'm just going to continue to use that example, you know, to show your passion for what you do, even if you're not passionate about the job that you're applying for fully, if you show your passion for learning or your passion for growing or your willingness to go above and beyond, I feel like the universe is really asking you to trust in yourself and your abilities and who you truly are, because it's those unique attributes that are going to help you stand out and make people love you for who you are. I feel like people are really going to respond to your truest self, and I think that if you try to conform to what you think people want to see or how you think people want you to show up, I feel like that could actually hinder you more than help you. I feel like the universe is kind of cautioning you to not get too in your head about like anyone you might be competing with, or fears of being rejected, or fears of like what if my perspective is wrong? So like for some of you, it may not be like a job interview or something like that, but maybe you're in a situation where you're in a conflict with someone and you're wondering like, am I right about this? Or like, do I have a case in this? And I feel like the universe is saying you do, but you can't push away your perspective and deny what you're thinking and feeling in order to satisfy someone else. I feel like whatever you're going up against, it's worth pushing your perspective forward, and it's worth standing up for yourself and selling yourself. With the Lovers card being here, I feel like the more authentic you can be, the better. And the less you doubt yourself and the less you get into your head about things, the better. I feel like rather than being focused on what other people have or how other people see things, have more confidence in what you know to be true about yourself. Have more confidence in what your intuition tells you. I feel like your conscious mind might be creating a situation where you're focusing a lot on maybe the negatives or the potential pitfalls of this situation, and you might actually be conflating. Like, for example, if you're competing with other people for a certain position or something like that, you might be conflating how much experience they have under their belt or how other people might view them. I feel like you are assuming that everyone else is more prepared than you, that everyone else has more awareness and experience than you do, and that's not the case. I feel like the universe is saying, even if the current situation you're asking about, for example, maybe you do get in your head and maybe you are uncertain of yourself and things don't turn out the way that you're hoping them to, that's okay, because you'll just be redirected to something else and you'll grow and learn from that, and you will still come out on top. I feel like with this Six of Wands here, no matter how things unfold, you will be happy with the end result and you will be successful. So I feel like the answer to your question is like a yes, but how that yes comes is going to be determined by how you show up to the situation, how confident you are in yourself, and how willing you are to to assert your worth and assert yourself. Confidence is key here, and you don't have to fully believe it. Like, trust me, most people are not intuitive. If you pretend to be confident, that is still something. I feel like the universe is saying the less you doubt yourself and the more you just allow yourself to be, I mean, obviously don't lie, but also like, don't be afraid to embellish your strengths and really fight for what you believe in. I feel like with this Lovers card being here, the best thing that you can do is have your own best interests at heart. Like, for example, you might find that there's a job that you really, really want, and you're going up against a lot of people, and maybe you're feeling confident and you get to the interview and then like you just blow it. That's okay, because that is just giving you the experience you need for the next interview or the next experience that you have. And I feel like for each of you, it's predetermined when this yes will happen. And so I feel like there's no need to worry about how it will unfold, because ultimately you will be successful. But I feel like you are, like I said earlier, overestimating other people's strengths and underestimating yours. The fact that we have the Starseed card underneath here and the Sun, I feel like the more you can go into situations being willing to share your strengths and share your light, the better. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Be your unique self. And if you do hear about what other people are doing, I would suggest maybe not do what they're doing. Do something different. Don't be afraid to stand out. And I feel like more than anything, your heart and your spirit will be what sets you apart from other people in this situation. You know, if whatever you're talking about, or, you know, when you have passion in your voice, people can tell. When you're being authentic, people can tell. And, you know, you might care a lot about this situation because you really want it to turn out well. And the universe is saying, we want that for you too. And we want you to have the thing that is going to be most aligned with you. And we want you to make your choices based on a place of love rather than fear. So I will also say that if maybe you're trying to force yourself to go down a route or make a decision that you know you don't want to do, I feel like the universe is saying it's okay to say no to that. It's okay to push that away, because ultimately you are being guided towards your own success. And I think actually the universe might protect you from making the wrong decision. So like if you feel, for example, really pressured to go for a certain job or a certain degree program, and you know in your heart it's not what you want to do, you might fumble the bag, even if you went into it with all of your confidence and with every ounce of determination in you, because the universe doesn't want you to settle for anything less than what you feel is truly aligned with you. With this Lover's card, I feel like whatever is meant for you, there's going to be a mutual reciprocity. So like, for example, if you're asking about a relationship or a friendship, if there is any difficulties here right now, like if you are having a hard time seeing eye to eye, I feel like the universe is saying, don't back down from your perspective, but also, if there's love in the situation, or if you care about that person, be willing to be open to their side and be willing to, find some conflict resolution. But if this person is unwilling to hear you out and you feel like they're not treating you in a very loving way, the way that you respond to it is going to kind of determine the outcome, if that makes sense. But ultimately, everything is happening for your highest good, and the one thing you need to know is that you will be successful. So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. The yes is coming. The right thing, the thing that will be the answer is coming, but it is a lot about how you approach it, how confident you are in yourself, and how willing you are to put yourself out there and not be afraid to take a little bit of risks, to show your passions, get excited, be passionate about yourself. It's so common for, I feel called to come back to the employer thing. Employers see so many people that are not confident in themselves, that are uncertain of themselves, that don't see their worth. What will really set you apart is your passion, your zest, your je ne sais quoi. Play into your unique abilities, play into your strengths, and even if you are uncertain, don't let them know that. As far as they're concerned, you have no doubt in yourself. So I think ultimately this is a yes. And if it is a no, it's because it's redirecting you to where your yes will be, if that makes sense. So like I said, this is I don't know, did I say that this was going to be a shorter reading? But we're going to go ahead and get some guidance now to finish this reading off for you. So yes, surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Then you can own your power and soar in life. Yeah, especially if the way that you were brought up, or negative experiences from your past are making you feel like you can't succeed. Fuck that shit. Most people like to throw rocks at things that shine, and I think that you have a very beautiful light. And I would actually look up what does Marisol mean butterfly? I don't know. Or is that Mariposa? I think that's Mariposa. I would look up what the name Marisol means. It might have some significance in terms of, maybe your name is Marisol, but I think maybe Marisol is the name of a guide. But I think the meaning of the name you might want to look up, because those might be attributes that apply to you. So yeah, definitely surrender those outdated beliefs, because the one thing that you need to believe is that you will be successful and you're being led to the right direction. And the more confident you are in yourself, the better your outcome will be. We also have empathize. Instead of judging or gossiping, empathize with this person. Try to see their point of view and choose only to see through love. So yeah, if this is a situation where you're having a disagreement with someone, I feel like the universe is asking you to see this situation through love. Rather than feeling like you're at odds with one another, look at the problem and say, okay, we're not against each other, but it's us against the problem. How can we work together? I feel like, and if they're unwilling to work with you, if they are directly against you, that might be an answer to you that it may not be a battle worth having, and that what is more loving and kind towards you and what is more aligned with you is not how that person is treating you, if it is about a person. Let's see what else we have. True manifestations are powered by service and love. And so that's the thing too, is like the more you can give love and the more a situation is like mutually beneficial, where it serves you and it serves the world, like those are going to be the most aligned manifestations. And also, my true safety lies in my capacity to align with the love of the universe. And so I feel like if you let go of that if and start believing in when, you can trust and have more confidence in yourself, especially when you're in situations that are a risk or you're uncertain of the outcome, because you know that the universe would not intentionally deny you something that would be really good for you, but it will deny you something if there's something better out there. So I feel like sometimes we don't see the universe's loving hand behind things, but I feel like you just need to trust that you're being held. And I feel like you know deep down that you're gonna be just fine, or that like you're gonna work through this situation and like there's a positive outcome assured. But I think your conscious mind is saying, yeah, but what if it doesn't? And kind of getting yourself unnecessarily worked up. So finally, we have taking a step back and being neutral can sometimes be the kindest thing I can do for myself in a difficult situation. So yeah, if you need to be neutral and take some time to look at things or just take a break before you approach the situation, I think the universe is saying the best thing that you can do is try to see this situation from outside yourself and try to let go of your view of the situation based upon how you think you are or based upon judgments of who you used to be. I feel like this is a real opportunity for you to see your own power and see how much stronger you are than you realize, and that your perspective matters too, and that you have so many more gifts than you realize, and that this situation is really going to be a lesson where even if you trip and stumble, you're still going to have compassion for that and recognize that like those stumbles led you to where you needed to be. Everything is working out in your highest good. And I think the best affirmation you can give yourself is like, everything is aligning for my highest good. So pile 2, that is where I'm going to leave your reading. If this answer is unsatisfying, please feel free to pick another pile. And if this answer does not feel like what you're feeling, you know, trust your intuition first and foremost. But thank you guys so much for watching. And thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to show appreciation for what I do. And if you would like to show appreciation in any other ways, you can like this video, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already and click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. Shout out to my notification squad, you guys are the best. If you want me to see your comment or something like that, I would highly recommend that you turn notifications on, because I typically respond to comments when I first upload. I also have merch link down below if you're interested in that, and I also have social media, though do be aware of tons of scammers pretending to be me. So just know I don't offer personal readings, and if someone comes to you pretending to be me, offering you a personal reading, they are a scammer and a weenie. But that's all I have, so thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, pile 3. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Ocean Jasper sphere, this is going to be your reading on the answer to your question. So while I'm shuffling this deck, just focus on the question you have. I make no promises that you get a clear answer. The universe doesn't always work that way. Sometimes the answer isn't predetermined, but essentially I'm just going to use this oracle deck and pull one card and let it be the answer to your question, and then I will pull tarot cards for clarification and elaboration, and then I'll finish off with some guidance. So it's a shorter reading today, but I figured it's probably better to not drag it out and just get the answer. So keep your question in the forefront of your mind while I'm shuffling. Let's go ahead and see. So Spirit, what is the answer to pile 3's question? What is the answer to pile 3's question, please? So this is a yes, because we have count on it. This is a yes. So each of these cards has a name, and this one is Zenith, so that could be a significant name. But this is really making me think of the very end of the Breakfast Club. for some reason. Well, I guess it's because the guy's standing there with like his fists up, but this is definitely a yes. So we'd love to see that. So I'm going to go ahead and just elaborate now and see what Spirit wants you to know about this yes. So Spirit, can you elaborate on this count on it? Why is this a yes, and what does pile 3 need to know about it? Okay, we have the moon. We have the 6 of Cups. Oh, this is beautiful. And what else, please? We have the 7 of Swords. Okay, back of the deck. Interesting. We have the 6 of Pentacles. So this was actually the back of the deck on another pile. But I feel like Spirit is really saying that you might be kind of reeling in this situation, because I feel like your intuition is telling you one thing, but it seems like everything outside of you is telling you something else. I feel like whatever you're asking about, it's going to arrive when you stop focusing so intently on it, which might be kind of frustrating. But I feel like the universe is really saying, trust your intuition in this situation. This is a yes, but your fears are definitely creating a lot of uncertainty and definitely creating more stress than necessary. I feel like with this count on it card, the universe has been, I think the universe has likely been reassuring you over and over that this situation is a yes, that the answer to this question is a yes. And I think that it feels right to you, and you know in your heart that it's a yes. But I think your linear mind might kind of invalidate and gaslight yourself, and you might be like, well, you don't know that, or it might create fear that's unnecessary, because the moon is also about like illusions and not seeing things clearly. And I feel like the universe is really saying in this situation that your faith in what you believe to be true is so important, because I think that you're in a situation that really requires you to trust what you feel. It seems like 6s are an important number. And I always see 6 as the number of unconditional love. And I feel like there's a lot here where you need to trust that the universe is working in your favor, and that your intuition is not leading you astray. I feel like with the 7 of Swords, you might be having trust issues around trusting the universe or trusting yourself. Like maybe in the past you have felt things were going to happen intuitively and they didn't turn out that way, or maybe you got anxiety and intuition mixed up, which I will tell you, anxiety screams, intuition whispers. It's often the quieter answer that is the right one. And I feel like with this moon card here, you have a very powerful intuition, but I feel like you invalidate it and don't trust it, because that's not necessarily what society upholds as valid or real. But I feel like the universe is saying, if you try to come at this situation from a place of strategy, or from a place of trying to control things, or trying to be very practical and logical, you might actually either delay this yes, or betray yourself and turn it into a no. I feel like the universe is saying you can count on the universe to bring you the yes you're asking about, but you have to trust that everything is aligning the way it's meant to. I feel like for you, the universe is saying it's not about, I don't think there's a lot about putting in work here. I think the only work you need to do is to pay attention to when your conscious mind is invalidating your intuition and creating unnecessary fear. I feel like with the moon card here, there might be some like fear around how this situation turns out, or just fear that you're going to mess it up. And I feel like the universe is saying you can't mess it up so long as you trust yourself, and so long as you trust that the universe would not lead you all this way to rip the rug out from underneath you. I feel like whatever you're asking about is aligned with your heart and something that the universe does want to give you. And I think it's interesting that we have, so 67 could be a significant number, or like 6767. I would look up that angel number, 6767, because we have another 7. And I feel like the universe is saying that whatever you're asking about, it just might not be ready for you yet. Like, it needs more time to grow and to be aligned with you. Like, for example, if you're asking about a person, or if you're asking about like a relationship that doesn't exist yet, if you're like for example, if you're feeling like, oh, I haven't found the right person, or what if I never find the person that's aligned with me, or what if things don't work out the way I want them to? You know, I feel like the universe is saying the only way you can really ruin this situation or create a no is if you thwart the universe's opportunity to bring you what you deserve, and if you settle for something less than what feels right in your heart and intuition. The universe is really saying this situation is not about seeing is not believing, believing is seeing. You have to believe yourself and trust that the universe is bringing you what you need and that your heart is guiding you. I feel like, if anything, the best thing you can do right now is, anytime you're ruminating about this situation, that's when you want to go within and really take in what your mind is telling you, and recognize that that's not the truth, that is just your conditioning coming in, and recognize that your intuition has so much value. And oftentimes we can get ourselves into trouble when we trust logic over our intuition. Like, for example, if we get a bad vibe about someone but we have no evidence to back up what we're feeling, we might get ourselves into a situation where we cause ourselves unnecessary pain because we didn't trust what our intuition was telling us in the first place. The universe is saying you can count on your heart and your intuition to guide you exactly where you need to go. And if this is about a specific person, I feel like the universe is saying that a reunion is imminent, so long as you don't allow your fears to get the best of you and push this situation away or settle for something less than what makes your heart feel good because you're worried that something better won't come along. The universe wants to give you what is most aligned with you. And with the Six of Cups, I feel like you've been putting a lot of effort and a lot of work into whatever it is that you're asking about, whether that is through your personal growth or through learning to trust your intuition more. And I feel like the universe is saying it will not betray you. The only way that this situation can go off track is if you stop trusting your intuition and stop trusting the path that the universe has you on, and you force the universe's hand in the sense that, well, if you make a decision based on timing, if I don't have this by this time, then I'm gonna settle for something less. That is your ego cheating you out of the opportunity to have what you truly want. Timing is not something that, like, divine timing is not something, I always say that it's not a date on the calendar. It's created through our actions. And if someone else is involved, it's also created through their actions as well. And divine intelligence, I promise you, is much smarter than your little animal brain. And while you might be intelligent, I feel like you are discounting how intuitive you truly are and how much you can actually trust yourself. And I think the universe is saying, don't let your fears get the best of you. Trust what your heart is telling you, and trust that you're in the dark about this situation for a reason. When you're meant to know something, it will be revealed to you. But I think a lot of this situation right now is learning how to trust yourself and trust what your intuition is telling you, because I don't think you would be able to forgive yourself if you did settle for something less, or you did settle for something. And this doesn't have to be about a person. This could be about anything. This situation is 100% a yes. The only way it is a no is if you literally remove yourself from the narrative or take a different path that takes you out of alignment of whatever this is meant to be. So really, the universe is saying the only way that this won't come to fruition is if you self-sabotage to the point where you push any opportunity of success out of your life, out of fear. The universe is really saying you can trust your heart and you can trust your inner guidance to lead you where you're going, because you will be successful. And the universe wants this for you just as much as you want it for yourself. So as long as you don't allow your fears to get the best of you, as long as you trust your intuition, even when it doesn't make sense to you. Ooh, okay, let me be right. I'm going to talk to you while I go get it. But I was literally reading this card today in my, I was literally reading a card today about discernment, and I feel like this card would be really useful for you. So I'm going to read it to you. And maybe green chrysoprase is a stone you might want to check out. It's a good heart healing stone as well. Do I have some chrysoprase? Yes, I do. This guy is chrysoprase. But I'm going to read this to you because I feel like you might be, I think discernment and understanding what discernment actually is might be very helpful for you in this situation and help you trust your intuition more. We bring you the blessing of discernment. There is an expression that all that glitters is not gold, and that appearances can deceive. This does not mean you must greet the world and all its appearances with suspicion and distrust. It does mean that it is wise to trust what you feel and sense happening beneath the surface, even if that seems to directly oppose what is being said or what many others may believe. The world is filled with opportunities for you to practice sensing truth behind the mask. You will do this most accurately when you allow your instincts and intuition to inform you without rationalizing the information so it matches the superficial appearance of things. If intuition or instinct is niggling at you, which is essentially just like the little gut feeling, it is trying to communicate something. Listen. Take your time to feel for your authentic response. Discernment helps you cut through illusion, manipulation, and deception and get to the heart of the matter at hand. It is the intelligent use of your intuition and instinct that will help you navigate through the multitude of choices available to you every day and choose what best serves your life journey. Discernment means seeing the truth from a neutral, non-judging, and detached perspective. Discernment helps you recognize the true value and potential, intention and capacity in people and situations in your life. It is a way to allow the reality of what is to become clear to you. This is exceptionally helpful. It can minimize the devastation of dashed hopes and the pain of unmet, unrealistic expectations. This can help you conserve and use your precious time and energy in intelligent ways. Your discerning inner eye will help you where there is genuine potential to continue to give of yourself to that, even if others tell you that you are wasting your time and energy when they cannot see as you do. And I feel like that is so important. You have a perspective that other people don't, and that doesn't mean that yours is wrong. It just means that they're not you, and they're looking at things from their perspective, not yours. They don't have your level of intuition, and they also don't have as much care about the situation as you do. You know, people might say that they care, but oftentimes people just want to be right. Or I think that people often like to have the excuse that like they think they know better or something like that, or because they have chosen the practical situation or settled for something less, they think that other people should. And that's not the truth. It might be their truth, but it doesn't have to be yours. Discernment helps you know what is true for you and what to do or not do. The power for accurate discernment can be increased in several ways. It takes courage to develop discernment because it is a personal inner knowing. That means to grow your own discernment, you are going to need to pull back from honoring the opinion of another above your own intuition or instinct. Of course, you can ask for the insights of those you trust. This can be very wise, but your discernment will only increase and if you then take responsibility for your take on the situation at hand and ask yourself what you feel, what is true for you, and what you sense. You may find that the view of another confirms your own, or that your sense of things is very different. Perhaps even if you admire and respect the person whose opinion you sought, you will need to discern for yourself what value you give the opinion of any other as you take complete responsibility for the choices in your life. This responsibility then gives you absolute freedom to live as you so choose. Sometimes your discernment will need time to cut through misleading appearances and get to truth. At other times, the truth will be very clear to you, perhaps instantly. Your job is then to honor that and respond accordingly with absolute trust. With practice, you will be able to tell when you are discerning and when you are reacting. They will feel very differently to you. Discernment is non-judgmental. It sees clearly and without emotion. It is neutral, accurate, and compassionate. It does not try to make things other than what they are, nor does it make excuses or condemn anyone or anything. It will, however, let you know loud and clear what is right for you and what is not. If you are confused about a matter in your life, uncertain if you are seeing the whole picture, or if someone is as they appear to be, you are advised to practice discernment. Complete the following healing process as often as you need until the clarity comes. Sometimes the best way to discern a truth is to stop trying to work it out, to step back and ask the universe to show you what you need to know and get on with living your life as best as you can from a place of loving trust and inner peace. In due course, the truth will be shown. Often, just at the moment you are really ready to see and know it, and at that time, you will also be ready to act upon what you perceive. This oracle comes to you with guidance and encouragement. Trust your discerning faculty and apply it regularly. What you are perceiving is far more accurate than you may always realize, and even though on the appearance of things it may seem shocking or unlikely, the truth is what it is. The more you rely on your own discerning nature, the more powerful, helpful, and clear it shall become. So if you want to do the healing process, I will hold it up. So if you want to screenshot it, I also noticed there's 111, so that might be an important synchronicity. But you can screenshot that and say these prayers if you wish. You certainly don't have to. But I definitely think that this is about trusting yourself. I feel like you know that everything is going to work out, but I think that you may be getting tripped up by timing or tripped up by the fact that you still don't have concrete evidence of it. But the evidence is already there. It's in your intuition. It's in the fact that you can't seem to let go of this outcome or this path. Like, if it wasn't truly meant for you, you wouldn't be so drawn to it. You wouldn't feel so connected to it. And I think that's the thing. There's a difference between being connected to something and being attached to something. This is not attachment. This is connection. This is something that you don't have to force it. It's just something that you feel. And I think if anything, you might have tried to force whatever this is away from you. Or you've tried to invalidate it, and it seems like every time you try to, it still comes back and it still comes to you. So I feel like the universe is really asking you to honor what feels right and let go of the need to prove other people right about the situation. If anything, I would say other people don't need to know about it. I think the more you can kind of stay quiet about what feels right to you, the better you will be in the situation. Because I feel like if you try to get reassurance from other people, it might just lead you to more confusion. And I feel like the universe is really saying here, this is not about being pragmatic. This is not about settling. This is about trusting what you know to be true and releasing the need to have all the answers. The universe is telling you, you will get there. And I'm literally hearing the song like, don't you forget about me. So the universe is saying, don't you forget about what your intuition, don't forget about what you feel is right. And I think that the universe is saying, just be open to receiving and be open to the answers coming. But this will require some patience on your end. The only way that this answer could change is if you start self-sabotaging and removing the opportunity for the universe to guide you and instead settling for something you know isn't right. The only timing that I can say here is that Pisces season could be significant. This is a timeless reading, but the moon does represent Pisces energy, so that could be significant for you. But I make no promises in terms of timing, because timing is something that is more about the ego. And, the universe doesn't operate, like I said, with a date on the calendar. It unfolds the way it's going to unfold, and sometimes timing is faster or slower depending on our actions. So it might be that you might self-sabotage the situation and it just takes longer for it to unfold because you have to redirect your course. Like, for example, if you veer off the path and you get lost for a bit, it might take some time to get back on track, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it might mean it'll take longer. So I feel like no matter what, I feel like this is a positive outcome. Like, what is meant for you is going to find you. And this situation is going to be a positive one. The only way you can make this more difficult is if you don't trust yourself, if you ignore your intuition, if you trust the opinions of others, and don't have trust in what your intuition and what the universe is telling you. Everything is on your side except for your own conscious mind about yourself and the misunderstandings of the people around you. And it might not be that they're against you. They might be giving you guidance that they feel is helpful to you, but ultimately you know what's best for you, and you don't need other people's validation to trust in your own situation. And ultimately you might be surprised that the less you rely on other people's opinions and other people's validation, the easier it is to trust yourself. And the less you take opinions on social media or stupid fucking guidance on Instagram. I'm not talking about I'm not knocking any readers on Instagram or anything like that. There's plenty of great readers, but I think that there's just an abundance of content on there. And for example, there's tons of guidance where I'm literally that is so toxic, or that is not helpful. And it's just about being discerning. Like I said, that guidance might be toxic for someone and helpful for someone else. This is about knowing what's right for you and trusting that you're on the path that you need to be. And the more at peace you feel about where you're headed, the more you'll know you're on the right path. If you are thinking about making a decision that because it feels safe or because you're afraid you won't get what you want, that will likely make you feel more anxious, and that's definitely a sign that you are veering off the path that is meant for you. Follow your heart because it's leading you exactly where you need to go. And I think if anything, I think it's more so your job to be patient and relax, because I feel like this situation is coming to you, or it might be something that just unfolds naturally. But I feel like the universe is saying, be patient and relax. And if you don't have an answer, you feel like there's no action to take, don't pressure yourself. Don't allow your need for things to happen quickly make things take longer than they need to be. So we're going to go ahead now and finish this reading off with some guidance, but I did want to summarize by saying the answer to your question is yes, you can trust it, so long as you don't self-sabotage and trust the guidance of others or settle for something that you know won't make you happy out of fear of not getting what you want. See this thing through. You can count on the universe to be on your side. You will be successful. Yeah, so we have surrender obsessive thinking. If you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Doing so will help you bring clarity or even solve the problem. Yeah, I mean, especially if you're an air sign or you have a lot of air in your chart, you know, you might be prone to like thinking of all different things, or even Virgo, because Virgo's ruled by Mercury. You might be like creating more stress for yourself than is necessary. When you just sink into, you don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have evidence to trust what you feel is true. You know, trust your inner guidance. Release the need to know how, release the need to know when, and just be open and receptive, because that's going to be more helpful than anything. We also have wealth. Money is on its way to you. Think thoughts of abundance. So yeah, I would definitely trust what you are feeling. And I feel like it doesn't even have to be related to money. This could be like a separate message, but I feel like for some of you as well, thoughts of abundance in general, like an abundance of joy, an abundance of love, an abundance of happiness, an abundance of good experiences, like seeing abundance in all forms, I think is going to be helpful as well. But we also have, yes, I release time and let the universe show me what to do. So yeah, this is exactly what you need. And I love how close it is to the discernment card, because if you don't know what to do, and if you don't know what action to take, then the answer is don't do anything, because you'll know when it is time to make decisions. But if you force the universe's hand and force them to work with timing constraints, they may not be able to work with that. They may not be able to align with that. Give the universe, the universe is more intelligent than you are, and your intelligent and your intuition is trying to get you to trust that intelligence, because it's leading you exactly where you want to be and exactly where you're meant to go. So the more you can allow yourself to be patient and try to not force the universe's hand, and the more you focus on joy in the present, the quicker this situation will come to fruition. But finally we have, yes, I don't need to solve every problem. Sometimes time will do the trick and things will sort themselves out. I trust the process. Yeah, this is all about letting go of timing, letting go of the need to have immediate gratification and immediate answers, because your intuition is giving you the answer. This reading is giving you the answer. The answers do not lie in the perceptions of others that do not know you, do not know your path, do not understand your question, do not understand your perception. You can be your own best friend in this situation. And, you know, I feel like with Ocean Jasper, this is a lot about trusting your intuition, trusting your emotions, and trusting the flow of life to lead you to this situation, to this yes, in the perfect time, in the perfect way. So pile 3, that is where I'm going to leave your reading. Feel free to check out another pile if this wasn't satisfying or you have another question you want to ask. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to support me and show appreciation for what I do. But if you would like to support me in any other ways, you can like this video if you enjoyed it, comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already and click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can also check out my social media, though do be aware there are scammers pretending to be me, so just know that I do not offer personal readings, and I will not slide into your DMs offering you a reading. I can barely text my friends back. I do not offer personal readings, so if someone is pretending to be me, they are a scammer and a liar and a weenie. And I also have merch, but that's all I have for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being here. I really hope this reading helped, and I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, Pile 4. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the blue rose quartz sphere, this is going to be your reading on answering a question that you have. So I make no promises that it is clear and concise. The universe isn't always very forthcoming, but you know, I will do my best to get the answers that you need. And if this pile either doesn't resonate or you feel like it's not clear, feel free to check another pile. But ultimately, trust your intuition and trust what you feel, because that is what's most important. But I am going to shuffle this card deck, which is going to give us the answer to your question. So while I'm shuffling, just kind of have the question in the forefront of your mind while you focus on the cards. And once we pull an answer, I will then start pulling tarot cards to elaborate why that is the answer, and we'll finish off with some guidance. So, give it one more good shuffle. Okay, so pile 4's question, Spirit. What is the answer to pile 4's question? Angel says, need more info. Okay, so this is not a yes or a no. What the universe is saying is that you don't have all the answers in this situation. And I feel like actually for this pile, it seems like the power is in your hands in terms of the action that you take. And I feel like the biggest thing that the universe is saying right now is to not make a decision hastily before you have all the details. It seems like you're actually being protected right now. Like if you've been feeling kind of pressure, like you need to make a decision, but that might just be like mental pressure. Like you might be putting pressure on yourself to try and figure something out, but you don't have all the answers yet. And I feel like the universe is saying that they are helping you. They're kind of like, I don't know how much the universe is doing this so much as like there's more that needs to be revealed in this situation. So I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle and see. Spirit, can you elaborate on this need more info? What does pile 4 need to know about when it comes to this question? Please. Okay. So these two came out together. Okay, so we have the Lovers and the King of Pentacles. What else? We have the Eight of Pentacles. This is interesting because 2 of these cards came out in a different pile. I hope you didn't pick that pile too. You might be rolling your eyes. Okay. And one more. Oh, that one flew. Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles. And on the back of the deck, we have the Sun. Okay. So this is really interesting because not only do we have the Page and the King of Pentacles, but most of these cards have to do with the material realm. And I feel like the answer to this question is to not make a hasty decision yet. But I feel like the biggest thing the universe wants you to be aware of is that you are allowed to trust your opinion over the practical guidance of someone that you love and respect, even if they have your best interests at heart. I feel like with the King of Pentacles and the Lovers, you could have like, you could have a partner, or this could be like a fatherly figure or something like that. There might be a part of you where you're torn between like the pragmatic option or the option that makes you like light up, something that you really, really want. With the Lovers card here, that's a lot about a choice. And I feel like you might be getting guidance, or you might be getting answers from people that are unsatisfying. And I feel like with the King of Pentacles, it could be like an earth sign person or someone who's just really established and more practical and grounded. And I feel like the biggest thing that you need to know about this person is that and it's even shown here with the Lovers card, is that when you're seeking guidance from them, they're not seeing things from your perspective. They're seeing things from their perspective. And they do not make decisions based on like what they intuitively feel drawn to the way you might do so. I feel like this Page of Pentacles might represent you. Like you might be wanting to establish yourself in something or start investing in something, and you might just feel a bit unsafe about it. Like, for example, maybe you've just started like having enough money to start investing, or you are starting to put like effort and energy into a project that you don't know is going to yield fruitful results. I do feel like there is kind of this situation here where the universe doesn't want you to completely let go of like the pragmatic perspective. There is a need to be a little bit practical here, because I do think that there is learning to be had in whatever it is that you're trying to invest in. But I do think also it's really important to not let the more practical opinions of others completely overshadow what you intuitively feel. Because I feel like whatever it is that you're working on, it will materialize and grow. And it actually will lead to something very fruitful and very positive. It will be something that you really greatly enjoy. However, I feel like the universe is saying that the approach towards this situation needs to be more balanced rather than all or nothing. So I'm thinking of an example, and it may not apply to you, but I'm just going to use myself as this example. But like essentially, I worked a job before I did tarot full time, but I didn't like quit my job and then say, oh, I'm going to pursue tarot full time now. I was doing my job and tarot at the same time. And once it was logically made more sense for me to put my effort and energy to my tarot stuff, then I quit my job, because I knew I had some sort of like safety net, and I wasn't just, making myself completely vulnerable without having a plan in place, without knowing what the next steps are. I feel like the universe is saying this is not the time to make hasty decisions. And if you're thinking about something big that you want to go after, the universe is not saying no, but the universe is saying look before you leap. Because I feel like with this Page of Pentacles here, the best way to approach this situation is to have some sort of plan in mind. And I feel like if you already have a bit of a solid foundation, in the sense of like, for example, if you're trying to start a new business and there's some risks involved, like maybe you want to build up your savings first, or at the very least like have kind of a game plan of where you want to be, rather than like, for like my example, rather than completely just push away your old life or whatever you have been doing that you don't want to continue pursuing, but at the very least can support you until it gets you where you need to go. Like I'm almost seeing, how in video games sometimes there's like obstacles where like the character has to wait for like moving platforms before it can like jump on them. I feel like the universe is saying that the right steps for you are not going to be like, the universe wants you to wait until it's easy to just kind of take a little leap rather than like a huge risk. I feel like with the Lovers card being here, whatever you are asking about seems to be very important to you. And the universe is asking you not to give up on that, and to not feel like just because it's not happening now that it won't happen ever. I feel like what the universe is saying is that what you are wanting to go towards is something that wants you as well. But if you're not careful, or at the very least, if you make like really hasty decisions, you might get too in over your head, or like it kind of feels like jumping into water without realizing how strong the current is. I feel like the universe is saying we don't want you to jump in to this strong water without a life jacket, without a boat. There's literally a boat there. Yeah, so like the universe is saying we want you to take this journey once you have some tools and protection to get there. And I feel like the universe is saying the answer will become more clear to you as you get a solid plan in place and as you start taking steps towards it. I feel like with the Eight of Pentacles here, whatever you are asking about, it will manifest. But I feel like it is going to be I'm hearing The Climb by Miley Cyrus. It's like, which banger. And I feel like kind of one of the most discouraging factors of this is you may be feeling like the people around you that already have been successful or that are very practical, they may not understand why you are so hell-bent on pursuing this path, or why you are maybe doing something more risky or doing something that they don't entirely understand. And that's because they haven't, like, if you see this King of Pentacles, he's looking away from the Lovers. And I feel like that's because whoever you're getting guidance from, they've always made their decisions from the standpoint of like what is reasonable and pragmatic. Like pragmatic is like the key word here with whoever this person is, because I do feel like they're outside of yourself. And honestly, you might see yourself as either becoming a King of Pentacles, or it might be the goal to be a King of Pentacles type person with whatever it is that you're pursuing. But I feel like one thing the universe is saying is that you don't just wake up the king. You start as the page and you grow from there. And I feel like anyone else that you know that's in this King of Pentacles role that you know is very grounded, very stable, very established, that's not something that's out of reach for you. But your path to there is going to be different, because you're not just motivated by security. You're motivated by something deeper, something that resonates with your soul, that you're very passionate about. And I feel like you might be getting guidance from others that are saying like, it's either this or that. And I feel like the universe is saying this is not about all or nothing thinking at all. And I even like that this Page of Pentacles has 2 figures in it, because I feel like there might need to be a balancing of what your life has been previously and how you're going to incorporate this new path forward. I also feel like the universe is asking you to pay close attention to just like, I am not an economics person by any means, but I do feel like the universe is saying part of the reason they want you to look before you leap is that like things like economy wise might evolve, and you might be in a better position to make like a strong decision or a strong action when things are more clear, or like, I don't know, I'm hearing things about like interest rates and stuff like that. That is not my wheelhouse. I don't know shit about that, okay? Like, so take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but I feel like the point of what I'm trying to say is that like, I feel like the universe is trying to protect you from making a decision too hastily and getting yourself in a situation where you feel like you're drowning and feel like you can't actually accomplish what you feel in your heart you're meant to. The universe is saying we want you to accomplish that too. And the safest way to do that is to make sure that you're prepared and that you have a game plan, so that you don't jump into a river with a strong current with no protection. It's like the universe is saying you are moving towards your happiness. You are moving towards your success. And I feel like the universe is saying you might be feeling a lot of resistance. Oh, I love this. With the Sun and the Empress and the 7 of Wands, I feel like whatever you're asking about, you know, you might almost feel like at times you're paddling against a current. And it's going to be a lot easier to do that if you have a boat and a paddle. I feel like the universe is saying what you're wanting is not impossible, but you do have to be patient with the timing. The Empress is all about, you know, the cycles of nature and allowing things to happen more effortlessly and to follow the cycles of time and to not try to rigidly force things. And I feel like in this case, the universe is really saying, we're not saying yes or no. What we're saying is before you make a hasty decision, get a game plan in place so you know where you're headed. You know, don't get in the car without your GPS. Like, don't invest all this time and energy when you don't know what it is being driven towards. Like, I feel like too, this feels like more of like a situation where you feel in your heart like what the right answer is. You're just needing to trust yourself in terms of how you are going to implement these ideas into the material realm. And what the universe is saying is that it is going to take time and work, but this is going to help you have a solid foundation and it will help you steadily grow rather than hitting extreme highs and extreme lows with whatever this project is. And I feel like the universe is saying you're going to be really, really, really happy with yourself that you didn't make a hasty decision in this case. And I feel like if you're feeling a lot of pressure from, like, for example, if this King of Pentacles person is like your partner or a parental figure or someone who has a lot of agency over you or someone's opinion that you really respect, you know, I feel like a lot of times the people that we love give us guidance because they want the best for us. And it's not because they don't believe in us, it's because they are relating to us through their own experiences. And I feel like the universe is asking you not to give up on what you truly want to do, not to give up on what the path that you want to follow, because what you're seeking is seeking you. But it's like you have to take the journey to get there. And the universe is saying, like, if you're not prepared, you could get yourself in a situation where you think you made the wrong decision and you completely backtrack and go into something that doesn't make you happy, that does make you miserable. And then you might harbor the belief that you were a failure and that you didn't do things right. And so I feel like the universe is saying that this situation is going to unfold solidly and steadily, and that you are not meant to give up on what you are moving towards. And anyone who is kind of discouraging you from that, I feel like does not have any ill intentions. I feel like they are just trying to protect you, but you have no idea like how successful you can be, and neither do they. And I feel like, especially if you've been someone who has been like accused of maybe being less motivated, or like, for example, if you're neurodivergent and, you know, you've been called lazy, or people have misunderstood like the way that you operate, you know, people may not just know how much you can actually accomplish when your heart is in something and when your passion is in something. And so I feel like the universe is saying this will unfold beautifully if you stay patient and allow yourself to take things one step at a time. This, like, the sun is a beautiful, beautiful yes. And I feel like the only way that this situation could turn into a no is if you go into this situation completely unprepared. You don't think about the practical steps. You don't think about how you're going to get there. And you're just thinking about the destination rather than the journey to get there. The journey to get there is incredibly important. And I feel like the universe is saying you have all of the tools that you need internally to face any challenges that come your way. But if you're not prepared, and if you don't have a solid plan, you might get overwhelmed or in over your head and make a drastic decision to walk away from this path or walk away from what you truly want, and then live under this belief that, like, yep, they were right, or there might be this sense of, like, you might have this sense of pride around, like, you want to prove, like, these people wrong. And I feel like the universe is saying you can do that, but there is some truth to what they're telling you. But it's about taking what they're telling you that is useful for you and discarding the rest. Same thing as a tarot reading. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Information is useless if it does not serve you. And I feel like the universe is asking you to be a little bit open to the guidance that you are getting that is practical and useful. But if it turns into things that are like, you can't do this, or this won't ever happen, what you need to tell this King of Pentacles person is, first of all, through God, all things are possible. So jot that down. So I feel like you can trust what you're feeling, like you are being guided. Archangel Raphael specifically is an archangel here that I think is significant on your path. But I feel like the universe is saying there's no point in wasting your energy rowing this boat when you don't know what the best direction is, when you don't have your map yet. It's kind of like the universe is saying, you can't make a decision yet. We're not saying yes or no. We're saying you need to come up with a solid plan and get into a situation where you can see the path forward, because that is how you are going to unfold a resounding yes in this situation. The only way it turns into a no is if you're unprepared, or you allow your impulsiveness or lack of planning to sabotage like the work that you're doing. So I just really trust yourself, because I feel like everything is going to unfold beautifully, but it's not going to happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. So I think the universe is really saying, we are guiding you, but we want this to be something solid and fruitful that grows over time. We don't want this like I'm literally hearing the term, like the words like one hit wonder. Like, we want you to be successful and have a beautiful foundation and feel solid and secure in where you're going, and not feel like you're constantly just flying by the seat of your pants. So the universe is, so this isn't really a yes or no. This is more of a take more information, take your time, weigh out all your options, and if you might find that the direction that you have is the direction you're meant to go in, but you're meant to take a different route or a different path, or you find the path that you thought you wanted to take is actually less productive than this other path that you discover through taking this path first. I know that might sound kind of confusing, but I feel like the universe is saying there needs to be a balance of pragmatism and passion, and combining those two things together will give you the outcome that you are looking for. And I think that you are actually going to be really surprised by how much you are able to succeed with whatever this is. And I feel like the universe is saying you'll be really happy with the outcome here if you do not jump the gun, and if you do not make a hasty decision without all the answers. So wait until you feel confident enough, you're prepared, you got all your river gear, I don't know, and then go on your journey. But just don't go unprepared, you know? You don't go on the Oregon Trail without your covered wagon and shit. Anyway, let's go ahead and finish this off with some guidance and see what the universe wants you to know. So to start, we have surrender your fear of intimacy. You are ready to let love in. Compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. So if this is related to a person or a relationship, I feel like the universe might be saying like, this intimacy starts with like being intimate with yourself and being willing to like be vulnerable and be open. But I feel like this fear of intimacy is also just around like getting to know yourself more, getting to know like what is truly going to work for you, especially if you are a person that is really used to doing what other people think is best, or you're just used to following other people's guidance without trusting your own intuition. I feel like you might be really afraid of trusting yourself and really afraid of like setting off into what you think will be right. But I feel like with this Lovers card, love comes in so many different forms. And this could be in the form of a relationship, but I feel like, I don't know, I like just with all the earth energy, I get a huge vibe that this has a lot to do with like your own path and your own journey. But if you're also curious about like your love life, like you might meet the person, like you might meet a romantic interest, or this path might actually, for example, if you have a partner, like this path might actually bring you both closer together. Like for example, if like your job brings you a lot of stress and like a lot of tension, like this this path could actually bring you both closer together. I feel like this path, it's aligned with your highest good. And I think having an intimate awareness of yourself is going to allow you to not only be more open to loving situations and loving solutions, but loving people as well that are either already in your life or that you will meet. And I feel like you'll just trust the universe more to like, in terms of following your intuition and taking risks, because you know that no matter what, you've got you and you can work through any challenges that come your way. We also have focus. Remain completely focused on what you want. The best is yet to come. I definitely agree with that. And we also have believing in spiritual guidance gives me the certainty and the freedom to keep dreaming, even when I can't yet see the result. And I love this because I feel like this is exactly what's happening. Like you need to believe in yourself, and it's okay if other people don't believe in you right now. The universe is just saying like, I feel like for some of you, you might have this experience of where like, people almost curse you without realizing it, because like for example, if you know you do have like a lot of ideas and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing, and then people are like, yeah, that's what you said about XYZ, and that's what you said about this, and that's what you said about that. And I feel like the universe is saying don't take that to heart, because when you're truly excited and passionate about something, it's worth pursuing. And I feel like this is something that's not just going to fall away. Like this is something actually really special and really important to you. So I feel like the universe is saying you should trust yourself and trust this situation. The universe just doesn't want you to be like completely ignoring the material reality and like the work that is involved for you, because that is what is going to give you the most, like the best success. Slow and steady wins the race here. But we also have The world will be healed one step at a time with kindness, love, and compassion. I'll start with those feelings towards myself. Yes, I feel like especially if you're feeling rather unsupported or uncertain, I feel like the universe is saying that you don't need to be perfect. And like, I feel like they're also saying, wouldn't you rather go towards what you're dreaming of than push that away in favor of like something practical that you know is going to kill your soul from the inside out? And I feel like this too also has to do with, if you're asking about a relationship situation, there's a lot here about not settling, but also like if you, for example, if you're single and you're asking about like a romantic interest or a potential partner, I feel like the universe is saying, we want you to be in the best position possible to receive the best relationship possible. And in order to do that, you have to start getting closer to yourself so that you understand what you want and what you don't want. That doesn't mean that you can't date, you can't get to know people or anything like that, or meet someone before you're like fully healed, because that's not a thing. But what the universe is saying is that the right things for you in terms of whatever this question is will be, they won't be sporadic and like fickle. They will be constant, solid, and something that slowly grows and evolves over time, like a beautiful tree that starts as an acorn. I feel like you're in the acorn phase, and now you know you're gonna start sprouting and growing, and you have no idea how big and mighty you will be. But for now, I feel like the universe is saying, don't do anything hastily. Make plans, but don't give up on your dreams. Just make practical plans to get closer to your dreams, and trust the steps that you have to take, and trust that slow and steady wins the race here. So pile 4, that is where I'm going to leave your reading. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else. That is one of the simplest and easiest ways to show support for me and show appreciation for what I do. But if you would like to show appreciation and exchange energy with me in any other ways, you can like this video, you can comment down below, let me know how it resonates. You can subscribe if you haven't already, and click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can also check out my merch and my social media, though do be aware there are tons of scammers that pretend to be me. So just know I don't offer personal readings, and I will not slide in your DMs offering you a personal reading. And if anyone does that, they're a scammer, not me. But that's all I have for you guys. I really hope this reading helped. Thank you guys so much for watching and for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye! Hi there, pile 5. Welcome to your reading, and thank you so much for being here. If you guys chose the Fluorite Sphere, this is going to be your reading on the answer to the question that you have. So I am just going to shuffle this oracle deck to get the answer, and then I'm going to use tarot to elaborate. So just think about your question while I am shuffling. I make no promises that you get a clear, cut and dry answer, because the universe does not operate that way. I will try my best to be as clear as possible, but if the reading doesn't make sense or it doesn't sound right to you, it's probably not your reading. So I would recommend that you trust your gut first and foremost, and try a different pile if you feel drawn to more than one, or if you want to ask more than one question, feel free. But ultimately, you are your own best intuitor, and you can trust deep down what you feel. I hope I'm just confirming what you feel, but if not, I hope that this reading helps. So just give this one more shuffle. Think of your question. All right, Spirit, what is the answer to pile 5's question? What is the answer? Aja says no, but. Okay, so we got to see what this but is. Haha, booty butt. So the answer to your question is a no, but there's something you need to know. So let's see what this but is about, what this booty is about. So I'm just gonna give these a good shuffle. Okay, so Spirit, what's this but about? I'm a child. What is this but about? Can you elaborate on this card? We have Justice. We have the Four of Swords. What else? We have the Moon. I feel called to pull like one more, so I'm gonna pull one more. And we have the Two of Pentacles. And on the back of the deck, we have the Magician. Okay. Okay. I'm actually gonna put this Two of Pentacles here. So it seems like what you're asking about is a no, but it's only a no either because it's not the right time or there's something better waiting in the wings for you. I feel like, if anything, this Four of Swords is really calling to me because like the word spiritual bypassing or the words spiritual bypassing are coming to mind, where you may be kind of pushing yourself to be ready for something or pushing yourself towards something before you're truly ready for it. I feel like with this Four of Swords being here, it seems like the right opportunity either is not, it's not time to manifest it yet, or the thing that you're asking about is not aligned with you in the best way. It doesn't mean that it can never be aligned with you, but at the very least at this point in time, it would need more time to develop if it were a yes. I feel like whatever this no is about, this is an excellent example of like rejection is divine protection, because I feel like with the Moon card here, you're not seeing the full picture of whatever this situation is. And I feel like with the Two of Pentacles being here, it seems like if you feel like there's only one option right now, it seems like you may have another option or another choice, or even like multiple different avenues you could take or different options you could have. And I feel like the universe is saying whatever you're asking about is a no, but that's only because there are much better things in the wings for you. I feel like with the Magician card being here on the bottom of the deck, I feel like there's a need to really trust that what is meant for you won't miss you. But I also feel like if your external reality is really chaotic right now, ask yourself if you are clinging to something or someone, or like it could be anything, because you hope that that could take you from your own chaos or take you from, I feel like you might be looking at a situation as like an opportunity to escape from your reality, or as like a get out of jail free card, which I don't think exists. Not that I think that you're in jail or something, but like, you know, the card in Monopoly. Like, I feel like the universe is saying that you need more rest and you need more time to kind of just see things more clearly. I feel like especially if you've been imbibing heavily in like substances or anything like that, your sense of judgment could be a bit warped. And I feel like the universe is asking you not to make a decision, or is asking you not to put all of your focus into something outside of yourself, because I feel like what you are asking about is maybe what you want, but it's not what you need. And I feel like with the Justice card, there's a far better outcome in the future for you that is aligned with the person that you're becoming. I feel like after rest and clarity, and I don't just mean like rest as in like, well, I think sleep actually could be one of those things. Like, when your brain does not get enough sleep, like, I'm pretty sure like there have been studies that equate like driving while being sleep deprived as like kind of on par with like drunk driving. Like it like your brain cannot function optimally if it doesn't have what it needs. And I feel like with this Four of Swords being here, the universe is saying that whatever situation you're asking about right now, you're going to look back in hindsight and be like, oh, thank God I didn't make that decision, or oh, thank God that didn't work out for me. Because I think that there's something better waiting in the wings for you. And actually, I think that there's not just one thing waiting in the wings. I think you have multiple options in terms of what you want and what is most aligned with you. I feel like with the Magician card, the universe is almost like, you might be feeling like the universe isn't listening to you right now, or the universe isn't allowing what you want to manifest. And I feel like that's because the universe is saying, if we allowed you to manifest these things right now and the state or perspective that you're in / have right now, you would be like very upset with the universe because you would realize that not all that glitters is gold. And I feel like you would be like, I can't believe I wanted that, or I can't believe I did this. You would be like looking at the universe, be like, why did you let me do this? And so I feel like the universe is saying, we're doing this for your own protection and for your own good. We're saying no, but that doesn't mean that you will always be denied. It just means that there's something better waiting in the wings. And I feel like with the Two of Pentacles, one of the things that I feel like you're meant to learn right now is that truths can coexist, and that you don't have to always be set on one thing. You can be open to options and open to what is going to work best. And if you don't know the right decision to make, you don't need to cling on to a certain thing in order to feel safe. I feel like if you are trying to cling to things in your outer reality in order to like kind of escape your inner turmoil or inner chaos, the universe is saying that is just taking you even further away from yourself. And I feel like the universe is saying, after a little bit of time, a little bit more clarity, I feel like you're working through a really important cycle right now. Things will be a lot more clear, and you'll recognize why the universe wasn't going to let you. It's like the universe is not letting you cling on to scraps because there's a beautiful divine feast in your future. And with the Magician card being here, the universe wants you to be ready and prepared for it. Yeah, I mean, the Four of Pentacles is often about holding on to things, and I feel like the universe is asking you to not hold on to things just because you're afraid something better won't come along, or just because you feel like that's all you're worthy of, or that's all you deserve. I feel like the universe is saying you deserve far more than you realize. And I feel like intuitively you know that, but you might have this conscious fear of like, you know, what if things don't get better? What if things don't change? Or you might even be feeling like too, like, things have always been this way. How could they be any different? And I feel like the universe is saying, you know, things can always change. Like, the only constant in life is change. And for you, I think that there's going to be a lot of beautiful clarity and recognition as you move through this cycle, where you realize that like you are what you were needing all along. And then the options and opportunities that you have are going to start like magnetizing towards you, and they're going to be very like, you're going to have tons of options all of a sudden, whatever this question is about. And you're going to be in a really interesting position where you get to actually determine what you think is best for you and what you actually want. I feel like you'll have multiple opportunities and multiple options, and the universe is saying we don't want you to make a decision hastily because you just want this cycle to end, or you just want things to change now. The universe is saying you're in this situation for a reason. It's not a punishment, it's just a part of life. And I feel like what the universe is really saying is that your future self is going to thank you for not giving up on yourself, and for not giving up on what you truly want, and for not giving up on your dreams and desires. Because I feel like the universe is wanting a blessed outcome that is actually in alignment with you, and not settling for something less, or settling for something because you're afraid something else won't come. I also feel like with this Four of Swords here, like, this is not a time to hastily be making decisions. This is a time to be kind to yourself, to kind of allow things to allow yourself to work through things kind of one step at a time. And you don't need to like wake up tomorrow and fix everything, but it is okay to like take a break from like healing and stuff like that. You know, if you're like, I have been healing, I have been resting, that's okay. Like, but what the universe is saying is, you know, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to like escapism is not like a problem where you shouldn't ever do it. Like, life is tough, and sometimes what we need is like a comforting movie or a good book or just something that we can escape to. But I feel like what the universe is saying is that they don't want you to make a hard and fast decision, or they're not going to let you make a hard and fast decision that would make your reality like either even worse or just not fun in general, because you are looking at something with rose-colored glasses. I feel like you might be looking at something through rose-colored glasses, or this question you might be looking at through rose-colored glasses, because you want it to be the answer that gets you out of this situation, but the universe is saying those answers are within you, as frustrating as that sounds. And some of these answers will just kind of unfold over time, but I feel like the universe is saying now is not the time to make a hard and fast decision, because you're either afraid another opportunity won't come along, or you just want things to shift in life. You'll be much happier with yourself when you give yourself the time and space to work through whatever it is that's going on, and channel your manifestations and focus on your manifestations from a more clear and positive place, where you're not only more sure of yourself, but you're more sure of your worth and what you do deserve. And I feel like this is just a process. Like, things are going to keep getting better and better, but the more you kind of avoid yourself and the more you kind of avoid what's going on internally, I think that is going to make it more, you're going to feel more, you're going to feel a much bigger compulsion to like want to cling on to things outside of you. And there's nothing, and I'm not saying like you have to completely detach from everything and only rely on yourself. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, like, if you are going to make a hasty decision because you're just tired of the way your life is right now, and I'm talking about like a big decision. I'm not talking about like going to McDonald's instead of Wendy's, like NBD, but that's no big deal. But I feel like what the universe is saying is that this thing that you're asking about might be like a really major thing, and the universe doesn't want you making a major decision or taking a major path in life and then, you know, having more clarity about yourself and then being like, I can't believe I made that decision, and then like regretting it or something like that. So I feel like the universe is really protecting you from yourself right now, and from making a decision that you would not, that ultimately would take you further from yourself and you would be unhappy with. And I feel like you would likely just beat yourself up and be like, I can't believe I was looking at it that way. I can't believe I was thinking about it that way. The universe is giving you the opportunity for empowerment and for self-awareness, and that's kind of a lot of what this cycle is about. And I really think that you're going to be seeing things much more clearly as a little bit more time passes. And I feel like what once looked like perfect and amazing, you're going to be seeing for what it is, and you're going to be like, oh, I'm so glad that like that didn't happen. So I hope that makes sense, but I definitely think that this situation is evolving for your highest good, and you will get a positive outcome. Like, there's something better waiting in the wings, and you might be feeling that. And actually, you might feel intuitively like there's something out there that you know you're either meant to have, or you know you're meant to be drawn to, and you might be trying to force that feeling onto things that are not actually what that feeling is about, if that makes sense. Like the actual connection to the intuitive feeling that you have, like the physical manifestation of whatever you have the feeling of connection to intuitively, I think it either hasn't materialized in your life yet, or it's not ready to come back into your life yet. And so I feel like the universe is saying, don't push what you feel deep down away because you are afraid that something better won't come. I feel like you're not seeing things clearly right now, and that's not something that you should shame yourself for, but it is something that you should be aware of. Like, for example, I don't have very good eyesight, so I can't drive a car unless I have glasses or contacts in. Like, the universe does not want you to get in a car and start driving when you can't see where you're going and you can't see where you're headed. The universe wants you to be able to make decisions that are most aligned with you, so that you can be confident in the decisions that you're making, and you don't get yourself into a situation where you create more stress or pain or frustration or chaos for yourself than is necessary. I feel like the more internal progress you have, the more you will see the changes in your external reality, and the more your external reality will reflect the inner peace that you are cultivating, and the inner trust and the inner awareness that you are having. So I definitely think that the universe is saying, like, this is a classic example of like rejection is divine protection, because we're protecting what is truly meant for you, the beautiful things that are meant for you, so that you can move towards your future in a positive way and see why, like, oh, you're trust me, this is like spiritual insurance. You're going to be really glad that this situation turns out the way it does, and that this, whatever you're asking about, was a no. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this reading off just with some guidance cards. So to start, we have surrender stubbornness. If you're tensing up or taking a rigid stance about something, gently observe yourself and become more yielding. This will help you communicate more lovingly with others and yourself. Yeah, ask yourself if your ego is holding on to something because you don't want to admit that it may not be right for you, or you don't want to admit that you're allowed to be wrong. I feel like we need to normalize being wrong in society, because none of us are right all the time, and we shouldn't be. We're allowed to change our opinions. We're allowed to wait until we have more information, and we're allowed to grow and evolve as humans. We don't have to have the same damn position for the rest of our lives. So I feel like the universe is saying, if you're stubbornly holding on to something because you want it to happen that way, or you don't want to let go of the idea that there could be something better, or you just don't believe right now that there could be something better, I feel like the universe is saying, it's okay if you don't believe that, but we promise you we wouldn't intentionally withhold something from you we wouldn't intentionally hold something from you if it weren't aligned with your highest good, or if it was aligned with your highest good. I'm confusing myself. Sorry. What the universe is saying is that we would not intentionally withhold something from you if it was aligned with you and good for you and an energetic match for you. But we will withhold something that is aligned with the future you, because you need to be in an energy to be able to receive it and not fumble the bag. But also the universe is saying we're not going to let you settle for something less than what you deserve and satiate your ego, because then you're going to get yourself into a situation where you're I can't believe I chose that. And trust me, you're going to be happy with this. You might not be happy with the answer that you're hearing, but you will be happy with the result once you kind of move through this cycle. Let's see what else. Be fearlessly you. It is time to become fearlessly you. This is the most powerful step you can take towards living your best life. Don't worry about what others think. Yeah, exactly. I feel like you might be wanting to make decisions based upon not wanting other people to you might be wanting to prove people wrong about something, or you might have made a strong stance about something that you realize now maybe isn't right for you, or something like that. But I feel what the universe is just really saying here is the more you know about yourself, the more you get to know yourself, the more you value your own perception and your own worth, the more you'll be able to look at things more objectively than through, is this the escape? Is this the escape from my life that I've been looking for? I feel this is what one thing that the universe is trying to say is that if you've been having a lot of fantasies about just dropping your life and running away to another country or something like that, they're not saying don't do that, but you might not look at things very clearly, and you might end up in a situation where you're I can't believe I put all this effort and energy into something that turned out not to be really aligned with me. The universe is protecting you ultimately, and the more you get to know yourself, the more you'll know what direction is more aligned with you, and you'll know more about what you're truly worthy of and what is truly worthy of being allowed in your presence and in your space. We also have, when I cultivate a spiritual connection, I can trust the universe no matter what. So I definitely think one of the best things that you can do is start cultivating a better relationship with your heart space, and really listen to what your heart is telling you over what your mind is telling you, because the mind can be really strong sometimes, and a lot of things that the mind thinks aren't necessarily accurate or real. So I feel the universe is saying the more you trust your heart, even if you're not a deeply spiritual person, your heart space is kind of your soul's advocate and the connection to the universe and all that is. So the more you trust your heart space, the easier it is to trust in what is coming for you. Even if believing is seeing, don't think that seeing is believing, because you're going to believe it before you see it. And that's the best thing that you can do, honestly. Yep, I feel my way into faith one step at a time. So yeah, the universe is really saying you don't have to trust the universe right now. You may not like this answer. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to not be happy with what you're hearing. But what the universe is saying is that the further you trust what you're feeling intuitively, the further you kind of let go of what you're holding on to, and really just be open to the multidimensionality of life, and be open to the idea that the universe could be guiding you towards something even better, the easier it will be to take those steps. The more you do, the more clarity you'll have, and the more you'll be just so happy that you didn't impulsively make a decision or impulsively cling to something because you were afraid nothing better would come along, or you were unwilling to let go of like the rose-colored glasses. But finally, we have, there's nothing as important as my well-being. I come first, other people and their expectations come second. I can only help others only if I take care of myself first. Exactly. This is like, if there's anything you take from this reading, it is this card. Because I think that this is a lot about prioritizing your well-being and not getting into a situation where you're in a more vulnerable position and someone comes in or something comes in that takes advantage of that. The universe does not want you to be taken advantage of. The universe does not want you to be put into a situation that you think is going to be the answer to your problems, and then you realize it just adds more problems to your plate. So pile 5, that is where I am going to leave this reading. If that did not resonate, feel free to choose another pile, but that is where I'm going to leave it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much for being here and for letting me read your cards. I hope that this reading resonated, and thank you so much to everyone who lets my ads play in the background while something else is going on. Oh, well, thank you for watching my ads. Thank you for letting my ads play in the background while you do something else. I don't think you don't need to watch the ads. Do something more interesting. But it supports me and I greatly appreciate it. But if you'd like to support me in any other ways, you can like this video. You can comment down below. You can subscribe if you haven't already and click that little notification bell to be notified whenever I upload a new reading. You can check out my merch, and you can also check out my social media. Though do beware, I have scammers that pretend to be me. So just know I don't offer personal readings, and I will not slide into your DMs offering you a personal reading. So if someone pretends to be me and says that they're doing that, they are a scammer and a liar and a weenie. But that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching and for being here. I hope you all have a wonderful day or night whenever it is that you're watching this video, and I hope you'll come back and see me again soon. Bye!